Hey everybody, it's Erin from Erin Makes, and today is Card Making Wednesday. I have some awesome cards that we're going to be doing today. They are all about ink blending, and they are all about silhouette stamps. I'm even going to show you how to make your own stencil just with punches and paper. Welcome to the show. Welcome. I am so excited. It's been a little while since we've been live, but we are back with a bang, and we are using all amazing products from Prickley Pear Stamps. So they have launched this brand new design. Let me flip over and show you guys the cards. So this is a brand new design of some of their stamps. They're so cute. They're all these wonderful, beautiful Kokopelli stamps. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? And then here's another one. I love all these dancing. It's so cool. And then here is this other really cool stamp set. These are so fun. So we're going to be playing with those. These are the cards we're going to make. And this is the stencil layout I'm going to show you how to make. And maybe you guys can already figure out my oopsie on this, but we will do 3 separate different techniques of how to blend singular color, maybe a hint of a second one, dual tone color, which we're going to do different colors for all of these, and then also how to create your own stencil to do some line work, some stuff inside the middle of there. So they are so cool. And then welcome everybody who has come on. Before I forget and we get too far in, down in the information section, or if you're watching me on Instagram, you can go in. I have a giveaway. The giveaway is the giveaway is for 5 separate winners, each to pick a book in the arts and craft catalog of their choice from Quarto Creates. There is a link down in the information for you to jump over and to play along and get your chance to win a book of your choice. Not one I picked, but a book that you would like. And there's only a few more days left to go. All right, I'll talk about that towards the end, but it is so much fun. All right, so let's get back all to these cool cards. I'm so excited. All right, making sure it's been a couple of days since I'm guessing all the sound is good. Everything is fine. So let's jump in and let's do the lizard card first. I'm going to hold off on doing the stencil just to give a few minutes for people to jump on and be with us. But we'll be getting to that one. Don't worry. That's the fun one in my mind because I feel like everybody can do that. All right. So for this card, we need to grab some basics. So for the background of the card, to make it just really clean, really simple, I have my white card base, and man, we are bright here. We're going to tone down. There we go. That's better lighting, not so crazy lights. We have our card base. I then have a black mat, which normally I go down by 1/4 of an inch, but this time I went down by 1/4 and then an extra 1/8. So it just gives a little bit more of a white space. Then I have another white sheet that I went down by 1/8 of an inch. So it just gives that tiniest bit of a layer around the outside of this, right? So it's just that little bit of this. And then I did cut 2 in case I screwed it up. We have another white, and that's what gives you that second white mat on there. So just cutting it down and giving not just 1/4 of an inch, but 1/8 of an inch. So it gives you a nice, good border there. So we'll assemble all that in a bit. The first part we're going to do is we are going to do our ink blending. Now, if you've ever seen any of my previous videos, you had noticed that I have been using like this really cool new mat, but it got really like, whoop, this toy. It got really funky fast, like it lost its stick. So I literally took an old Cricut mat. This is just a light grip Cricut mat, and I cut it into 4 sections. So each of them had a 6x6 grid. So it still fits within my MISTI. It still does all the things that I want it to do. And then I'm going to take my paper here and I'm going to line it up on the grid so I get everything lined up nicely. And for this one, we're going to be playing pretty much with the garden patina. But if I want to add a little bit of a darker color around the outside of that, I can. Oh, my Canadian just came out. Did you hear it? All right. So I am going to grab my ink blending tools. If you guys have not seen this, this is so super awesome. This is a new Lazy Boy caddy. I just love all the colors that go with it too. It is so much fun. So it's my little Lazy Boy caddy for all my ink blenders. I picked up all the fun colors because they color match for what I want. So I'm going to grab my teal. This is actually from another one, but I already had teal. And I'm going to use it for both because they're about the same. So it's got a little Lazy Susan in there. That's how I was rolling it around. And it fits a ton, like every color of the rainbow plus some. I have still not even used all of my, because how often do you ink blend black? I don't. I'm not a big black ink blender there. whatever works, whatever floats your boat. All right, so now to make sure that this doesn't wobble around on me, there's one other little piece of equipment I like to use, and it depends on what I'm in the mood for. Either I will grab my small mat, which this is the Station by Wendy Vici. So Ranger makes this, and this fits on here nicely. And now I don't have to put my magnets on my paper because my paper is stuck in the mat. Much easier. Let me tell you, it's just amazing. It is so cool. So here we have all of the stamps, or sorry, all of the ink, magnets. That's the word, magnets. We have all of the magnets lined up here. But if you want to get out your big mat with your big magnets, you could do that too. This is just my small portable. It just depends on what I'm in the mood for, if I already have it out or if I don't. Oh, so Sharon is actually 16 slots. I was trying to remember the number, but I couldn't think of it off the top of my head. Thank you. There's 16 slots in here. So that is plenty, I think. Lots and lots, lots of room. Okay, so let's start off with the lighter color of the two. And now we're going to ink blend. So I'm just going to grab my ink. I can come off the page. I know there's a lot of color on here. We can clean that and we'll do it after. But I figured the last one I used was green. So I'm not so worried on this particular card. All right, so we're going to come in, and our goal is this one. I went darker on the outside and then faded to a very light. So I want to get a nice good impression of color from the outside of this. So we're going to get a nice good impression. If the magnets are in your way, like this little guy is right now, I'm just going to move it out of the way. I can always put it back, but look, it's not, the paper is not shifting, which is why I love this for ink blending. I feel it helps solve that problem for me. Now, because there's a lot of green already on the mat, because the mat's sticky, but it's still going to move color around. If I did a color that I didn't like, I would completely have cleaned it off. But I didn't mind the green that was on there because it goes with the teal, or in this one, Garden Patina. I flip between inks all the time. I'm not a purist when it comes to whatever color I have that blends well, that I own. So I will mix and match brands all the time. Oh my gosh, my dog is hilarious. He is over here. We're just going to keep on doing the edges and then we'll come back in the center. I have my back door open because it is beautiful here in Central Texas. It is about 65 degrees out. It is absolutely a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous day. And a bug flew in the house, and all of a sudden I see my dog just kind of jumping and doing like cartwheels. He's a dog. He's like 85 pounds of Labrador golden retriever mutt. And he just did like a whole leap in the air and flip and then land trying to catch whatever bug just flew in the house. But oh, it's beautiful. My husband texted me. He's like, you need to get outside. I'm like, I'm doing my live. Stop texting. I think he's jealous because he does a very, very short work week. He's a 4-day work week. But because he's doing a shorter day, he's there for longer every day. I'm just going to move my magnets to give me accessibility over here. So this time of year, he leaves, it's dark. And by the time he gets off work, it's already dark again. So he doesn't see any daylight throughout the day. So welcome, everybody. I know we have a lot more people that have jumped on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm just checking out if anybody's left a comment here. I've got comments in a few different places because we're also streaming live on Instagram. They have finally allowed to stream on Instagram, which is so cool. So I am super excited about that. It is. So now I've got my nice coat on the outside, and we're going to do a lighter coat on the inside here. All right, so I'm just going to gently come in and do kind of just a gentle coat. That's the best way to describe it. There we go. So I'm kind of coming in and then just coming. I don't want to do heavy, heavy-handed because I want to see that center. Now, one thing I also know is that I am very right-hand dominant, so I will flip the whole thing around and come in here to even it out because I know I'm going to be more dominant and kind of push color into more one side than the other. That's not the goal here. The goal is to make it nice and even. So now we have a nice center. I still feel like I've got a funky, like I got a lighter patch. So we're going to fix that little lighter patch. There we go. So now it doesn't look like, well, there's another funny spot right there. There. It's a nice lighter patch, dark to lighter. Now I'm going to come in, such trivial things. But for some reason, sound to me is like my biggest pet peeve if people don't have decent sound, and I've been trying so hard to make my sound better. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, now I'm going in with a little bit of a darker color. This is the Simon Hurley for me, and I'm just going to the outsides just to give a little bit more of a darkness. And I like the tint of green that hits. But like I said, if I had a darker, if I had like red, I would totally have taken my mat off first. So, and I'm loving my hack. I asked you guys because I did like my top 5 tools from 2022 for card making. There's a couple more videos coming hopefully coming in that world of top 5. Most of it on just general crafts. But I had these sticky mats and I asked you guys all these questions about what did we think in terms of how to re-stickify it. And everybody gave me, so you know what, for this, I'm just going to start with a clean slate and see what happens. And it has been phenomenal. All right, I'm going to pop my little blending brush, that's the word, back in my caddy holders. That way it doesn't get mucky and get stuff all over my table. And here's the beautiful thing. I can now take this, right? Everything is still stuck on here. Put my magnets back on here, shift it. And because this is no bigger than 6 by 6, well, it's a little bigger than 6 by 6, but your standard can go a little bigger than 6. So this fits in here, no problems, which is nice. So now this can slide right in here. Again, I don't have to put my magnets on my paper. I can put it just on the mat because the mat is sticking, the paper sticking to the mat, which is holding everything together. So we are going to grab the first set of stamps. And this first set of stamps is so cute. I love these. Now if you're curious about how to use any of these, even after what we did, because we did little lizards. So I did a green color for the lizards. This one we used more because I'm doing turtles. Bigger turtles would be swimming in the water. The lizards need to be on something else. And so we are going to do the turtles for this one. But I saw a really cute idea with the deer. And it looked like it was in a snowy scape. So if you want ideas for how to use these stamps, head over to Prickley Pear Stamps. There's a ton of inspiration. Just want to show you guys real fast. Here is some of the really cute stamps. And there are dies that go along with most of the stamps, just not this one. And there's another one in the Southwestern collection. It is here. It is called the Prickley Cactus Cream Stamp Set. And it has this really cute prickly pear stamp. I love it. It goes with if you're on Instagram, I'm sorry, it's getting a little cut off, but the stamp set mimics the look of this guy. Oops, I gotta flip my screen again. Hang on. It mimics the look of this guy right here, which is so much fun. So you can see the stamp, and there is a die set that goes with that as well. So let me get my mouse back over. So there is a stamp, and then you can buy the whole collection. There is a way to buy the entire collection, all the stamps, all the dies, all together at a reduced bundled rate. So those are all at Prickley Pear, and you guys can check that out because links are always down in the information section. And if you are not watching from YouTube or Facebook, if you're watching from Instagram, links are in my bio to jump you over to the store. So you can head over to my bio and you can link that way. Okay. Get you everybody covered. All right, so now that we have this one, we're going to do the turtle. So I'm going to grab a cute little turtle, but look at all the other fun ones in here. I just love it. So the inspiration for the reindeer is in there, but look at all the other cute ones. And there's this really adorable big one. I love them. I saw this and I was just, oh, this is the best one ever. So let's plan this out before I just start stamping. I kind of want my turtles swimming. So I think I want to go one here and one there. And I'm going to have one. So it's kind of like we have a swimming set of turtles going up. And then just like I did for this one, we'll add a stamp in the middle because if I go from here to here to here, then I've got an open space right there to put a stamp, which is really easy. Okay, so we're going to put that there. And these are all designed by, I got to give shout out to artists. This is from Sally Milo. I love that she's got the whole Southwest collection that she's done. So you got to give all of the amazing artists out there that do all the artwork their props because they do such a good job. I also want to double check and make sure I have the correct side of the stamp, which I do. So these are silhouette stamps, meaning that they will stamp almost completely the full coverage of color that you were wanting, meaning you're not going to do a coloring in of them. So I'm just taking my Misty and ink it up. There we go. come back, and then I'm going to use my fancy tool from Prickly Pear. I have the blue one, but there's also a red one. But there's also, for those of you that like to have the handle, Prickly Pear has made a whole, I'm going to re-ink that because I want it to be darker. She has made a whole line with the 3 colors that are in the company. The colors are teal, green, and purple. And just to give you an idea of what, this is what the green and the purple, and then here is the teal right here. And for those of you who don't know what this is the magnet holder for your dies. We're not using dies today, so I didn't need to pull it out, but those are the 3 colors. So you can pick the Prickly Pear in the teal or the green. You can pick the color for your brush holders in teal and purple or in green, and you can also pick your stamp block. Not really a block like this. It's a little different. It's got the handle on it, but it's really pretty. So those are all available in the store too. I really want good impressions on each of these. That's why I'm inking them up really well. So there's our first little turtle. Turtle. Now we're going to do a little clean so I don't make a funky impression. I'm just going to clean off this as well. This is just, off. And now I'm going to come in and I want to angle all my turtles differently. So that way they're still swimming like upstream, but they're just angled differently. Whoops, got to ink the sucker up first. Oh, well, I want to see if I like that. Yep. Okay. Does anybody have any fun, exciting things that happened over the holidays? We stayed home and did nothing. It was great. I did not need a crazy whirlwind of stuff happening. Oh, my kids are old enough, so it's like it becomes very chill and very just relaxed. Hi, Dawn. Hello. Audio is still sketchy. Ay vey. Okay, hang on. On. All right. I may not have a backup for my mic as of right now. That might be all I got for today. Okay, well, hang on. It's because my mic's up here. I had it down in my hand. Sorry. Let me just do it this way. Okay, how can we hear it now? I know I tried to switch my audio from my mic to something different. Okay, that's better. All right, I'll put hopefully I'm not. Okay, we'll try that. See how we're going now. Now you just see my cord. Usually I hide it in my shirt, but I'm not going to go ducking in my shirt right now. Okay, let's flip. Now we hear me. Hopefully it's better. Sorry again about all that. I'm going to do one more impression on this turtle. The joy of lives. I'm trying to have better audio. Phooey. Now that's all that I'm going to think about this entire time is my mic working? Because it should be. All right, and now we're going to have our last little turtle. I try to have them all angled just a little bit differently. There we go. So much better. Maybe I just need to turn it on and off. Sorry about that, everybody. For those of you that have hung with me through the crazy audio, thank you, because there's nothing like listening to crappy audio. So I really appreciate that. Awesome. Give a thumbs up for better audio. I don't know. All right. Last turtle is going on. Let's get our ink on there. Here we go. And then stamp over here. There we go. And see, that's still just a little, if you want to have a lighter impression, that totally would work. But yeah, if this was not a live video and you had crappy audio, it'd be like, But sometimes with lives, you got to roll with the punches. You got to roll with it. That's how it works. All right. I feel like I got good impressions of that. There's my little swimming turtles. All right. So let me clean this off so I don't get stuff everywhere. I also am trying to do that so I don't get my fingers too mucky, so I don't get stuff on all my beautiful work that I've done so far. So that's always a nice thing to think about. Before you go touch something that's like clean and crisp, especially if you're going for like a very clean and crisp look, check your hands, make sure your hands are good. All right, so now I'm gonna go into one of the other sets. This one's got lots of beautiful comment or sentiments on here. Happy birthday, today is dance, all about you. I'm just loving the fonts on these ones. So we are going to do, I think I'm going to stick with the same one. You are amazing, because then that card can totally work for anything. I feel like it's such a versatile sentiment that you are amazing could work for birthday. It could just be like a want to give you a card just because, you know, there's so many options for that. All right, so we're going to come in again, a couple of passes real fast. Feel like I need one more. It's not quite there. But see, nothing's shifting. Nothing's moving at all. Nothing's picking up and doing anything weird, which is nice. Yeah, I'm going to ask again, how's the audio? Are we still good? Because now I'm all paranoid. I am totally paranoid about the audio. Oh, yeah. And I'm also, because I'm adding in the world of adding the live Instagrams, that's messing with me too. Looks like we're underwater. Yay. Well, I know you can still hear me, but is it good sound, or is it still, I need to go back and listen to it. And I know, okay, I'm at like minute 23 and see how it sounded compared to the other one. I had such good audio for the longest time. Oh, well. All right, pop this guy out of here. Let's move this off to the side. And then now we're going to pull this off. And because this is a light tack mat, it's meant to work with paper. So it pulls off no problem. Now, the one thing I am going to do is I'm going to take my microfiber and I'm just going to take a lip. You didn't hear that. That was just my phone falling to the ground. I'm just going to do a little bit of a light wash on this to get some of the color, because we're going to come in with some other colors in a little bit, but I don't want to go too crazy. And I want to let this dry, but I cut a whole bunch of them, which is what just fell on the ground. So I got to go grab that real fast while that dries, because the rest of them took a dive along with my phone. And my dog is sitting right in the way, not wanting me to pass. He's like, nope, Mom, don't go anywhere. So here's all the rest of the 4 that I cut out, or the 3 of the 4 that I cut. All right, phone safe, phone safe. And I'm just going to let the other one dry. So that's the nice thing about cutting up one big mat, is that you can have, oh yay, good audio. Finally, I got good audio. Is that you have 4 that you can work with, and it was one mat that you cut. And I know I cut up like a Cricut one, but you could totally cut up whatever you want. There's some off-brand ones that would be even cheaper. It's just, I happened to buy a giant pack of them. It was what was on hand, and I knew I was doing lots of ink blending. Okay, so that paper, when it comes out, it looks really weird like that. It's all like crumpled up and like, so you have to kind of flatten it back out. You can also take it and kind of roll it. But as soon as you stick that to your mats, you will be fine. So I did have an extra sheet of paper in case we screwed it up or something happened. You can also go in at this point, if you really wanted to have some fun, you could do like the water flicking, and it does kind of add that water bubbly thing. I'm going to leave it plain. I don't want to muck it up too much, mostly because then I would have to let it dry. But yes, you could totally take a little bit of water, because these are all water. Well, this one's a dye ink, but the other one I believe is a blendable dye ink. So if you've got something that's got a water soluble, they can, they'll kind of have that bubbly look on them. Keep rolling and rolling. Keep those stamps examining. You're cute. Pam, you're a hoot. All right, so I'm going to check my fingers real fast so I don't get them all mucky. And I'm going to add my adhesive to the back. And this will also help everything. Oops, see, I'm going to clean that up. That's why it's nice having a nice table you can clean. And then I'm going to check, but first put this on the right way, and line this up. And I look at the top corner, the bottom corner. Before sticking it down, I check the other side as well. And if all looks clear, and then I hit all 4 corners, and now I can really kind of bend it, and it'll flatten out because it's on the background of that paper. Use a white gel pen to draw a few bubbles. Yes, you could totally do that. I mean, this is your card. Have fun with it. Have fun with it. I am just trying to give you a little inspiration. Now, this black mat is a very, very, very tiny black mat. It's supposed to be tiny. It's just giving that little bit of a separation. and then going in and adding it to the base of our card. So I love when you guys have more fun ideas, and I'm like, ooh, I should do that. And then I really wanted a nice big white mat on the outside of that because we have so much color. Excuse me. We have so much color happening with all of the ink blending. And then there's lots of black. I really want it to be a very clear, clean card. So that's where we got with these two. Let me angle it this way for those that are on Instagram. It's a little bit easier. Instagram, I have to think very linear right here. And that black mat makes everything pop so much more. Absolutely. I love just that little hint of black. It really does make everything go poof. All right. So that is our first card. Our second card, we're going to hit, because we're close to Valentine's Day, we're going to do some double ink blending. Again, we've got that little hint of that black mat. This time we're adding in another color, and then there's another white mat. So again, layering all of those mats is just so easy to make your card go from kind of meh and then to amp it up a lot. So we're going to start off with same kind of situation. We have all of our mats. So we have our big pink one. Then we have our black. Then we have our larger white. Whoops, wrong way. White. Then black. And I'm just going down by like 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch. It just depends on what colors you want. And then this is what we're ink blending right here, is that smallest white one. All right. And this is just a little square 4x4 card. Just a kind of a cutie little card. That looked perfect on Instagram. Well, good. I'm trying to get everything lined up. I'm having to rethink my spacing here. So I'm going to grab another new mat. And when I made all my prototype cards, I did everything on the original mats. I just kind of wiped it clean, but I felt since I got it wet with water, I needed to let it dry. Otherwise, it's not going to have it sticky. So there you go. All right. Now we are going to be playing with, on this card, I'd used a red and a dark pink, which is the raspberry. But for this one, I'm going to do 2 tones of pink. So you can play around with whatever you want. I actually debated doing like the teals, but because it's Valentine's Day, I decided to go more Valentine-y. So we're going to pull out our ink blenders. So here is my pink one. And I'm going to change gears and do, because this is such a dark one and I've got so many of this color, I'm going to turn this into my other light pink. So let's go with our lighter color first. And I need to get my mat back out because you see how it's sliding? It just doesn't stick as well. So get your little station out, or whatever you have that's going to allow you to have magnetic. Magnets are your friend when it comes to things not sliding around on you. All right, so let's do the lighter color first. Here we go. Come in, and we're just going to do the bottom half. And I'm going to kind of do a diagonal. With the original card, I did a little bit of a diagonal, but this one I want to go even more. So it cuts across, I mean, not a perfect, because this is so linear and the rest of the square is linear. It's just giving another angle to the whole thing. So we're going to go a little more angular. And I'm going to go more with the lighter color to begin with. It's not, we're not doing it perfect. So I'm only going to do this top half, but it's going to blend in the middle. There we go. And you don't have to make it. I went super saturated with color on that guy. That's way too high for everybody to see. I went super saturated with color. And so you don't have to oversaturate. You can do very faint if you want to. And this shape right here could be anything. You could do this circle, square, you name it. Use a Sharpie to write color on handles. Yeah, I've done that. I also have these other little thingies right here that are like little color tabs, and I've got a whole bunch of them. So I think I'm going to add them to that. But it's also pretty easy to see the color for the most part on there. I wanted to keep a separation between light and dark pink. And like I wanted to also keep a separation between dark green and light green because they're not all the same. And obviously teal's got its own color. All right, I feel like that's pretty good. Now we're going to switch over to the darker pink. And these are just the 2 pinks that I had that weren't dried out. So that's what I went with. Totally what I went with. And it's a very darker pink, but that's okay. It's shades of pink, right? Perfect. There. And I think I like the more speckledy look on this. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you want more speckledy? I'm really getting in here in the center and blending them. Go back to the lighter ink again. And just trying to blend the two different colors together. I'm also going to bring in some of the lighter, some of the lighter color up into here, just to blend it a little bit. And now it looks a little bit more of a gradation between the two. You guys getting into ink blending? I really started this about 2 years ago. And at first I was like, nah, but the more I've done it, the more I really kind of enjoy it. I think I enjoy it more than like direct coloring. What are your thoughts? Inquiring minds would like to know. What is your thought process? Put my little ink blending brushes back in my caddy. Put it off to the side. All right, now we are going to stamp. So I'm going to pull this off. Stamps back on here. They do kind of stick a little bit because these ones are foamy, but they come off no problem. Now, again, everything is on there, so I don't have to worry about it. Come back over here, pull out my Misty. And I know people have like these giant Misties. When it comes to card making, though, I like things to be a little bit smaller because I don't know about you guys, but the real estate on my desk is super precious. Now, on one of the other stamp sets, this is the cutest little stamp set here. So you've got the 3 characters, which we're going to be playing a little bit with them, but there's also this beautiful heart in here. And there is a die that goes with these 3 characters and also the heart. I don't have it, but because I don't need it for these cards, but you can totally get one. It's really, and it's in the big bundle as well. But I love this music heart. Just think of anybody who's got a lot of music going on in their life right now, or that they're just a musical person. I just love this heart. It's so striking. Now I'm going to make sure this gets all the way in the corner, and I'm just lining up my heart right there. But you can make that any color you wanted to. You guys like ink blending? It should do it more often. Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. Just get out there and do it. I mean, seriously, if you screw it up, it's a piece of paper. It's not like you're breaking the bank on paper. And ink goes fairly a long ways in terms of, like, it lasts a long time. Any ideas how long I've had some of these? Take a wild guess, some of you. I think 16 years. Some of them are not even dried out yet, which I am shocked. There are a couple that are pretty dry, but I am in shock. I've had these Wendy Vici ones, which I've been using on and off since 2019, which is not too bad either. And you guys know me, I make cards all the time. So look at that cute heart. I love it. All right, now I'm going to peel this off. See, it just peels off like butter. Kind of a cool masking look right there. Peel these there. Take the stamp. Don't want to lose it. Still have a stamp. No idea what that goes to. It's off to the side of my desk. It keeps falling on the ground, and because I didn't put it back where it was supposed to go while I was using it. So now I have this rogue stamp that doesn't have a home. Driving me bananas. Now, I already went through and did this just to save time. But I went through and I stamped the word "Dance to the Music of Your Heart," which is on this one. There's also "Dance Like No One's Watching," which I think is, I love that saying. It's like probably one of my favorite ones on here. But this one was because it dealt with music and it had the heart on there. I felt like it was just a fitting phrase for what we were doing for this card. So I stuck with it. Now it's time to layer all of this together. All right, and then we're going to get to our create your own stencil card. So we have our main base here. Now it's time to layer, layer, layer. Let's grab our, I don't know why I flipped that. Like for this, it makes sense to flip it over, but why would I flip this over if it's this? I don't know. It's me being stupid. It's me being silly. I'm shifted also my camera. If you guys notice, I keep going to the top of my screen because that's where the center of my camera used to be. But I was tired of leaning over on my desk to be in the center. So I'm not used to the center's now closer to here. I feel off. See, I did it again. I flipped it over again. I don't know why I do it. All right, now I'm going to, again, I look in the corner, corner, and corner for a nice small card. I need to clean my hands real fast so I don't get muck everywhere. Okay, this time I'm not going to flip it because it's the same. I'm goofy. All right, so now we have a nice little border, clean border of white, clean border of black. It just separates from the raspberry in the back. And I kept the same dark color to match because it was the same pink here. But look at the difference in how much I ink blended. I went much more saturated. Here I went much lighter. So that is the other beautiful thing about ink blending, is that you can go as light or as dark, more saturated or less saturated as you want. It is up to you completely. Let's go ahead and add this one on there. And if you don't like the light look, you can always go a little darker. You don't have to stick with what you have. All right, so there is that. Just easy little Valentine cards, right? But it's that really cute look. Now I'm gonna pop this up. I thought it fit perfect in the center. So I have these little strips. I found that one strip is over enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the one strip. There's gonna be a tiny bit left over. And I wanted to really, because it's thin, I wanted to really make sure that it's fully encased. If you've got a thicker strip, you don't have to do 2 layers, and I know I had scissors out for a reason, and then I put them away. But if you want to do 2 strips, or like if you've got a fatter strip, or if you've got the dots, or if you've got the squares, apparently mine likes to go flying in the air. There we go. And then just lay that down there, fold it back. This one is poking out the end. See, I just a little bit left over. Ooh. And I'm just going to pull this back so it doesn't. And this is why I left my door open. Now my dog is outside barking his head off. Dogs are funny. He is such a giant teddy bear, but you walk by the fence when he's outside, oh boy, he sounds like he's about to chew your head off, even though he won't. You just step into space and he's like, oh, I got a buddy, I got a buddy. Dogs are so weird. All bark, no bite, at least for this guy. Giant, the worst he's gonna do is lick your face. And then we are gonna pop this into the center. Dance it, oops, as I thought I had it, and then it stuck to my finger. I'm just popping that in there. I'm gonna add a little more adhesive to the bottom of this because I don't want that curling up. Apparently I did not add adhesive to that section. And there we go. Look how cute those are. And I'm totally off screen again. I'm not used to my centered. So that is our second card, using a couple of different tones. As long as they're in the same family, like the red and the pink, I would feel that would go together. You could also do orange and red, yellow and red, pink and yellow might be a bit of a stretch, or you can do 2 different tones, monotone it, but lighter and darker. So you can have fun with that as well. That is our second card for those that jumped in and missed the first iteration of us being here. This was the first set of cards that we made, also using the Kokopelli, that's the word, the Kokopelli stamp sets, the Southwestern stamp sets from Prickley Pear Designs. Again, all links are down in the information section. Now we are going to do the ink blending with designing your own stencil. So first I'm going to show you, sorry, there's my phone. First, I'm going to show you how I made the stencil. And we're going to play around and change up some of the characters in there. So what I did is I just took a sheet of a different color. It was my scrap sheet of paper. And I punched out, so I used a punch. So I had a square punch. I was like, you know what, that would work if you have a circle punch. This would work as well. If you've got a rectangular punch, that would totally work as well. It really all depends on what shape you're going for. So I went with square. This is the actual stencil that I created that I used to make this card. But what I did is I took a sheet of paper that is the size of what I wanted to be on the mat. So the stencil is the same size as that sheet. And I could keep reusing this as long as I don't get it nasty and gross. And I can also flip it over and do the other side, but you might get some funk in there. You could also laminate it and cut it out. That's a way to keep. So you take a sheet of paper, you laminate it, and then you punch it. So it's more reusable over time, or it just becomes a kind of a one-time use. It's up to you. So then once I had my little squares, I lined them up and went, okay, I want one there, I want one there. And I decided I didn't want to have mine perfectly linear, which you could. You could make it perfectly linear if you wanted to. But I feel like the more perfect you try to make it look, and if you make an oopsie, it's more obvious. So if you just shove it off to the side there and do it like that, or go even more, plus it gives you space to put some fun sentiments on there. Then if you make it a little bit wonky, not a big deal. Then all I did is I just took, well, this one already has it on there, so I already had the back side. I just took a little bit of my adhesive, popped it on there. Once I decided exactly where I wanted them, I took my punch again, lined up with where it was because it's exactly the same size, and repunched the whole thing. So now that's my first square. And then I just did the same for the next square and the next square. So as long as I already had the right shape and the right size, if you have too wide, because you have to think about how wide your punch is, if you're using a punch, how wide your punch is. Like I don't even think I can get all the way into the center. That was part of the other reason why I picked on the side ankle. But you could also use dies if you've got you could add the different dies in there and die cut out the centers. You could have all kinds of fun with that. I just was like, I have punches. Why not? Let's just use them. So we're going to use the stencil I've already put together. It's already to size. I could use a new one, but I decided to use this one because it was done. And I'm going to pull out my mat again, line this down. There we go. And it doesn't quite fit. And you guys are going to be like, but it's off the sides. It's okay. It's okay. Now, you guys see the oopsie I made in the first card? Anybody? Anybody? I'll let you guys mull over if you can tell what oopsie I made on this card. And then we'll come back if anybody figured it out. Good. There's an oopsie there. There we go. Anybody? It's such a happy card. I didn't realize I had done it until after I'd done it. And it was one of those ones that there was no, like, it could have been the right way. It was supposed to be a sunset. So if it's a sunset or sunrise, the blue is supposed to be at the top and the orange is supposed to be at the bottom. So I had my colors reversed, but it does work. It's not exactly what I was going for, but it works. All right. Now, if you notice with the sticky mat, this is not going to stick because it's on top of that. So I do need to use my magnets to hold down the top layer or the stencil, paper stencil. Some people do a trick where you take washi tape and stuff, but I feel like the magnets do a really good job of holding everything down. And this time I do have my blue on the top. And again, I'm going to be moving the magnets around because I want to be able to get in. So the first one I'm going to do, I'm actually going to slide this whole thing down so it's not off the edge. And I have a little bit of a mat here, but it's not going to make that much of a difference. So I'm going to come in with, I have my 3 colors. So I have my Hero Hues blue. I've got my lighter pink, and then I have marigold. So again, I'm using 3 different brands. It's just the colors that I wanted. I had the perfect tones. They still work together. You don't have to be super brand specific when you're ink blending. My fingers are something gross again. All right, we're going to start with the marigold first. I'm just going to put the other ones off to the side. So I'm going to pick out of my handy dandy. This is my orangey marigold one. I have this other one here, but I think I need to label that one. That's more of like a dark yellow. And we're going to do all the marigolds first. All right, make sure I'm centered here. Just picking up the marigold on here. And I'm going to move my magnet so I can get to this first one. And I'm just going to hit the bottom. I'm just doing lines. Now, I would have to be careful if I would, because this is paper, I would not want to come in and then do blue in the same section. So as long as I replicate the same colors in the same order, I can continue to make and use the stencil over and over and over again. Not a big deal. Shift my magnets up. So instead of switching out colors, I'm just going to switch by space. And there's the dog. And here's tags. So this would work if you had like a real stencil versus making your own stencil. I'm just shifting so I'm on the mat, and I'm going to do the bottom section. I go up a little bit more, and I'm going to move a couple magnets down just to make sure that nothing shifts. It should be good. You can also kind of go side to side. You can take this and kind of go like this versus circles. I do feel like if you do circles, it's just a little bit more of an even coat. All right, we're probably going to come back to the orangey marigold color again, but now we're going to go to the pink, which is in the center. So I'm going to pull my light pink, which is that other peach color. I'm going to do the center in pink. It's okay if they blend a little bit in the center. That's what you want them to do. You want them to have a little bit of an overlap. That's what helps it look so seamless. At first, you're like, it's not doing it. Just keep working. Go right where the colors overlap. Give yourself that blend. And that's what makes it even more. And I know like I went way high with the pink. It's okay. It's okay. Because you're going to go back with blue. Blue is going to overpower the pink. And then you're going to get that little bit of purpley tone in there too. feel like this one's starting to dry out a bit. It's okay. It served itself well. I just need to get reinkers now. I've had all of these colors of inks for so long and had been, like, not using them to their full potential, and they've been sitting and sitting. Like I said, some of these, like the marigold one, I've had for, like, 16 years. I didn't use it enough. What a waste. I could have been playing with this all along. See, that's where I can see the color starting to not be as strong as it used to. And I just want a nice light tone. I don't want super, super dark. The happy card. All right, and now I like to cover them up just so in case I drop something on them, I don't make them mucky. And then I'm gonna come in with, going back to my little tool here, grab my blue. And if you guys can see, I just have my, well, if you're on Instagram, you can't tell. I just put my ink blenders just on top of my ink because I know I'm gonna come back, so I didn't put them away yet. Just have them off to the side here. Now we're gonna go in with the blue. This one is a brand new ink for me, so it's super, super, super juicy. So I don't really need to work too hard to get a lot of color. You guys can see that already. I'm gonna pull this down so I have a better angle. I don't feel like I'm squished to the top here. What are your go-to colors for ink blending? This is like an easy sunrise. Such an easy sunrise on these ones. All right. So what I like to do is I like to go from one color all the way up, and then I go in reverse. I do the darkest color last, and then I come in and I reblend going back down the gradient. I feel like it blends it easier. Also, again, do this if I feel like it's not hitting the color spaces I want to there. There we go. Everybody's in Cricketville. Nobody's chatting right now. And then I'm gonna do this last little section right here. Everybody's enthralled with my blending abilities. Whoops. All right, so see how that shifts? I didn't have my magnets where they needed to be. Hopefully I didn't mess it up. Key thing, make sure your magnets are on there, otherwise it doesn't do you any good. Let me move this guy up. Hopefully I didn't mess it up. I was moving them so it wasn't in the way, and I didn't realize I had them off of my top layer. Make sure your magnets are there. A little bit of back and forth. All right, I feel like there's enough blue. Now I'm gonna come in with the pink and reblend to make that even more seamless of a color. And I'm gonna kind of hit the center of all of it. And it just hits, see, it softens that space. So look at the difference between here and here. This one looks a lot more soft. This one looks like it's a lot more of a line. So come in and redo that color again. Stay on. It'll soften it up and kind of make it not so like lime green and teal. Ooh, those would be pretty together. Blues, purples, and teals. Well, I wonder why. Sharon, she's like, blue, purple, teal. I'm like, yep, because those are your colors of your brand. It makes sense. Mine's teal too. I mean, it's my go-to color. But I do like playing with other colors just because you can't use the same color over and over and over. I don't tend to gravitate to brown as often, though. I will say that. Probably the least used color in my wheelhouse. I like nice, bright, happy colors. And now I'm going to go in just with marigold one last time, hit that bottom just to emphasize the marigold color there. Move these up. There we go. And then move this up. Move the whole thing. If you had a bigger mat, you wouldn't have to worry about all the shifting that I'm doing. I just didn't pull it out today, and that's okay. Some people don't have the giant mats, so it all works. All right, I feel like I've hit my colors really well. So let's do the grand reveal. Hopefully my little oopsie down here didn't make that big of a difference. Tiny bit. You guys see it? It shifted and I had a little bit of a color there. So you have the option of going whatever, which is what I'm gonna do, or you could redo the whole thing. It just depends on your time, what you wanna do, any of that. So it just depends on your where you're at with that. What is your crap, I gotta redo it point. To me, that's not enough of a redo. And I can probably cover it up because I think I'm gonna put this guy, I'll cover it up with a little bit of the stamp on top. So yeah, with the horn. See, somebody was checking me. Somebody is in the right space as me. And you are gonna be your own worst critic. I'm gonna put all my things away to give me more space. I'm just popping all of my blender brushes back in my caddy. So handy. And this looks really cool too. You could end up doing something with this if you wanted to. If you wanted to blend up more, I mean, it's looking kind of pretty. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of liking that. All right, so now we're gonna come in and we're gonna stamp this guy because it's cool. And I'm gonna switch out one of the stamps. All right, so what I did opt to do, I think we can get away with this. I think I'm gonna do it like this. Before I had it lined up a little differently. I didn't have it. This one's like it hits the side, it hits the side here. I was afraid I wouldn't get to line up, but that works great because it's kind of wedged in the corner now. All right, we're gonna do the horn one in that spot. So I'm grabbing from the set that has all the three Kokopellis on there. We're gonna definitely cover up that spot with the horn. There we go. You're gonna fix the problem. I have not used this one yet. And if you notice with the original card, I went one guy facing that way, another one facing that way. Oops, you can't see that. I switched the order of which way they were facing. So that way it would be a change. Again, not so, and I didn't want to put two facing the same direction. So we're going to change the top one out with that one for grins and giggles. There we go. This one's going to go here. And I'm not worried about if it comes out of the space. And I think actually for this one, so for this card, because I flipped it, notice I ran out of room. Initially, I had a thought. There are these beautiful music notes that come out of here. We're going to line that up. So we're going to have him line up or it line up, whatever. With the music notes coming out. So again, it's also drawing our attention to something different in my spot where I made an oopsie. I'm going to angle him a bit different. So right there. And then there's only one that faces the other direction, so it will go there. Now it's deciding what sentiments to use. There's a whole bunch of beautiful sentiments on here and here as well. But truly, I liked what I did on the first one, which is just dance and you be you. Something about just like empowering you to be what you want to be. I love that. And I love to dance and dance however you want to. Again, I'm off centering these, making them line up a little differently. Make sure this hits right in the corner. There we go. And because I'm doing everything in black, we're going to stamp it all at once. So put blue, pink, and peach piece behind each window. Oh, that could be fun. Oh, for me, for this one. Cool. See? All kinds of fun stuff you can do. All right. Line that up. Let's get all of these little pieces attached. This is going to take a few different rounds of ink. Make sure this is really pushed in here. Stamp the bottom before you do the music notes to be clear. Oh, okay, good point. I'll move that. Thank you. She's okay. In case you, because I've got people, I'm going to pop it up on the screen. I'm not sure how Instagram's going to see this. We'll see. Show. No, Instagram's not going to see that very well. So it says to get the music notes closer. So basically, here it is. So instead of putting the music notes on there now, stamp him first, come back, add the music notes so I can really layer it on top. Very smart. Very smart. Okay. Let's do this batch first. The other ones, it doesn't matter what order. It's all lined up. Thank you for the tip, because I would have been like, it doesn't quite line up the way I want to. And then the other stamp set here, there's another set of music notes. So if I wasn't a fan of this one, I could always switch it out with that one if I wanted to. And I might add another set. I don't know. I think the one set's good. But we'll see. We will see. See, it needs more. It's not, you could leave it as a faded impression, but you could also, I'm going to ink it up more. I want it to be nice, crisp, and clear. And so since these are more silhouette types of stamps, you want them to shine. And you don't have to do them in black. Black is the easiest one when it comes to the color. It stands and it pops pretty much against everything. So, but you could also do whatever you like. So it doesn't matter. All right, I feel like the center body of this guy needs a little more oomph. Top towards the bottom legs right there. And the center of the bottom one needs more too. So I'm going to hit hard right there, and hard right there. There, much better. Aren't those fun? They're like little happy dancers. Okay, and now I'm going to clean these off so don't mess them up. Some people are a big stamp so I don't care if the stamp's not super, super clean. I don't need to get it back to where it was to begin with, and you're never gonna get them back to where you want to. But I'm afraid I'm gonna get my fingers mucky and then mess up my stamp and mess up my card. So I like to clean it up purely for that reason. Does one set of notes go one way and the other? We're gonna play. We're gonna have fun with it. I haven't used the notes yet, so we're gonna have some fun and see what they look like. Because why not? All right. Again, putting everything back so I don't lose them. That's my MO is I tend to lose it all the time. All right, so I grab that set of notes. Let's grab the other set of notes. And the other cool thing about this stamp set, put it against the backing here, is you also get all these really cool borders and flames and, you know, kick up your heels and kind of some other sentiment things. But I love all the little framey things that are on there. And again, if you want some wonderful inspiration for any of the sets that we played with today, go to the website, click on the stamp set or the die set, and there's lots of wonderful inspiration from the design team. They've done a fabulous job. Okay, so this is the one that came from the singular die, this one. And then this one came from the one that has the 3. So that could go like that. This one would cover that up. So I can't really, and this one I could go like there. That works. What do you guys think about that? I don't want to cover up because I had it facing down if I angled him. Angled it. What do you think? Should I do both set of notes or just one? I like this one. But this one works here too. This one works for both really well. Earth. I'm not sure. Maybe like that. It kind of there's lots of white space on here, which is great. They both point to the right. How I wish I'd thought of that. Oh, use them both. All right, we'll use them both. Okay, so I think I got them lined up both because music travels, right? It doesn't just, it's not absolutely pointed in one way. That's why we can turn in lots of different directions. All right. New stamp, just want to stick. I'm just going to double check these again before I ink them up because I just shifted everything. My background paper is not wanting to, there we go. I just want to make sure it lines up the way I want it to. No, I want this one a little better. There. It's kind of on top of his knee, but that's okay. All right. I keep calling it a he, but it looks like they're wearing dresses. I think these are she's. All right. Just stamp it up. These are so beautiful. There's not that many music things out there. And I love these little musical notes. We're a big band family. See, that worked really nicely. I like that one. My kids are all play some sort of instrument. My husband and I, that's how we met. So I don't sing, but I play music, play instruments. So it warms my heart to see some sort of musical something or other because I feel like I live, eat, and breathe music to this day. So with my children, I'm just doing the top. I should have just done the top one. There we go. There it is. I love it. Can you guys see the boo-boo? Oh, man. I can still see it, but it's also kind of a cool way. If you've ever done any kind of like with your stencils, how you can take them and then you just shift them, just like I did by accident, but you shift it and you get a little bit of like a silhouette impression or like a shift impression. That's another fun way to use stencils. If you've never done that. All right, let's peel this off. Oops. Apparently this was a little higher tack mat. Actually pulled some of that paper off. It shouldn't have. That's interesting. All right, pull my stamps off before I forget my stamps. We'll fix that. That's part of the reason why I always love to do mats on my cards because that gets solved. And I already have stamp sets. Let's get these bad boys back on here so I don't lose them. But they are really pretty. I love the music notes. Anybody else a musical person in any way, shape, or form? There's many ways to enjoy. You might be a music appreciation. You can compose, you can play, you can sing, piano, wind instruments, string instruments. So many wonderful ways to I appreciate music. All right, we're going to put the black on first. And I got smart and didn't flip it over because it's the same darn color. All right, so again, I look for edge, edge, edge. I look for the 3 corners, and the fourth one will automatically line up. And this is a much bigger mat to give a bigger of a white. So just to show where we were, let me do it this way. There we go. So that we can just see the edge of the white on here. And then we have this. So it really pops in and ties in with the black that is on there. And then you really can see all those beautiful colors. If you're wondering why there's a color on the back of this, it's because it was on the mat from when we ink blended the square card. It's on the back, I'm not worried. And then now I'm going to come in. Oops, I had that upside down. And I did my colors correct. See, blue is the top this time. I screwed up the last one, and I didn't quite get this lined up. It's a little bit bigger. Oh, did you guys see what I just did? Sugar. Who caught that? Now it looks like it's pooping. Crap. All that hard work. Oh, for a stupid hand. I thought it was dry. It was because I did all that re-inking. Don't do that, people. Don't, like, just hit the corners. Be good. Oh, fudgers. It was such a pretty card, too. Okay, I'm gonna still call it good. Whatever. It is what it is. They're one of those things that you just ugh. It's part of the card making to make mistakes, but it is what the first one there's a little smudge right there for my thumb. It's a big oops, but still think you guys get the idea of how to make the card. How many of you have ever done that? I mean, oh my God, you get right to the very, very end and it's like, so if in case you missed any of the cards that we have made earlier, this was the last one we did where we created our own stencil and created a little bit of a grid pattern for our Wonder Kokopelli characters to be in, all playing wonderful music and dancing. Add a ribbon around him. It still looks like he's pooping. Our second card that we did, in case you missed it, you can always go back and watch the replay. The replay will be on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So you can watch it in all 3 places. And also, we are streaming on both Prickley Pear and Erin Remakes YouTube and Facebook. But so far, I've only been able to figure out one Instagram. At least I got Instagram working though. That's awesome. The second card we did is ink blending with possibly a second tone of a color, creating a gradient where it's lighter on the inside and so the outside. So it's another form of ink blending using another set of wonderful characters from the new Southwestern collection. And the last one is because we were I'm still used to being off-centered from the other card. Is a lovely pair of cards that have that music is in your hearts, again, with a couple of different tones. This one we use red and pink. This one is a lighter and a darker pink, but using 2 different tones to ink blend on like a diagonal. So use it anyway. Add one of your corner borders to cover it up. Ink blend over him. I will figure something out. I don't know. I gotta let it dry first. It's like you get to the end. Oh. So for all of you guys who are still watching, thank you guys so much. As a heads up, I know I keep saying you guys, but to everybody, there is a giveaway going on right now. Link is down in the information section. If you're watching on Instagram, it is click my bio. You can jump over. It's down towards like one of the other squares of colors. You'll see giveaway. Quarto Books is offering 5 winners, each to pick their own book from their arts and crafts catalog. You only have about a week to enter. So but the link is down below. There's ways to get your name into the entry more than once, so you can see all the different icons at the bottom, but you get to pick an arts and crafts book of your choice. So if you're wanting to dabble into something new, venture into calligraphy or mixed media or drawing, sky's the limit. They have hundreds and hundreds of books in their catalog. So hop on over there and you can get a chance to win. All right, I think that is it. Ink blends. Oh, I was sorry. So thank you. Kokopelli is a figure of mischief. So there you go. Mischievous little sucker. Caused me to mess up my card. No, I messed up the card. It didn't do anything. Links for all the supplies are down in the information section. Check out Prickley Pear Stamps. They have wonderful, wonderful supplies, including all the stamps we use today, along with a lot of the tools that we were using today as well. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you guys at our next card making Wednesday. Bye, everybody.